For the anatomical structures involved with the thyroid gland is closely associated with numerous other structures in the neck. Anteriorly, we can see here the infrahyoid muscles, namely the sternothyroid, and superior belly of the omohyoid and sternohyoid. On the lateral part, the structures involved with the thyroid gland laterally is the carotid sheath, containing the common carotid artery, internal jugular vein, and lastly is the vagus nerve.
So, medially, the anatomical structures that are involved with the thyroid gland include the larynx, the pharynx, the trachea, and the esophagus.
There is the hormones T3 and T4. Iodine is needed to produce these hormones. It undergoes 7 steps. Number 1, the NIS on the surface of the thyroid's follicular cell brings in 1 iodine and 2 sodium. 2. Iodine will cross over into the colloid space through pendulum transporter. At the same time, RAF-ER of the follicular cell will produce thyroglobulin into the colloid space. 3. Iodine in the colloid space will be converted into iodide. 4. Iodide will bind to the tyrosine segments of thyroglobulin. If it binds once, MIT will be produced. If twice, DIT will be produced. 5 is coupling of MIT and DIT. If MIT combines with DIT, the result will be T3. And if DIT combines with another DIT, the result will be T4. 6. T3 and T4 will go back into the cell and proteolysis separates them. 7. They are free to exit the cell and perform functions in regulation of body temperature, metabolism, and heart rate.
Thyrocalcitonin is a type of thyroid hormone secreted by the parafollicular cells. When blood calcium levels are too high, these cells secrete calcitonin in order to reduce the blood calcium levels in the body. It can be done with two mechanisms. The first mechanism, it inhibits the activity of the osteoclast or the bone destroying cells because the activity of the osteoclast will release calcium in the bloodstream, thus increasing the blood calcium levels in the body. The second mechanism, it inhibits the reabsorption of calcium in the kidney. The calcitonin is said to be the antagonist of the parathyroid hormone or the PTH because PTH are secreted when there is low blood calcium levels in the body.
So to summarize everything about the thyroid gland, it has two lobes and a narrow band connecting it called the isthmus. It is also one of the largest endocrine glands in our body, and its primary function is to secrete thyroid hormones. So these thyroid hormones, what they do is they bind to the nuclear receptors in the cell and it controls metabolism. They are stored inside the thyroid glands in the thyroid follicles. Common thyroid disorders and problems like what mentioned a while ago is hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism happens when the thyroid gland produces too much thyroid hormones. Our thyroid hormones are essential since we have T3 and T4 traveling in our bloodstreams. So what they do is they regulate the speed with which cells or metabolism work. As an example, we have the T3 and T4 regulating the heart rate and the speed of how our intestines process food. In addition to this, we have calcitonin, which is also a hormone that regulates the calcium in the body. Common thyroid disorders and problems like what mentioned a while ago is hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism happens when the thyroid gland produces too much thyroid hormones. Other common disorders that include the thyroid gland is the hypothyroidism, which is the opposite of hyperthyroidism. Also, the Graves' disease, which is a common cause of hyperthyroidism. Another are Hashimoto's thyroiditis, goiter, and thyroid nodules.